Greetings and welcome to my channel. This is Sorcerer Tal. You can also find me on Facebook in the Sorcerers Guild. Today on the S1 Project and Magical Theory, we are going to talk about how to summon the higher, or more correctly, fuller self using a dream door. So first we will discuss what I mean by the fuller self and why that's a more apt term than the higher self. And then we'll talk about how to physically make a dream door and then how to open it and use it to interact with and create a more cohesive connection to your fuller self, as well as literally summon your fuller self to petition yourself. And as well as some other magical possibilities that having a dream door opens, and then we'll conclude with why I had to do this video twice. Okay, so the fuller self is that part of you that is aware of its equality with all things. At the very center, all of us, are perception. And perception is the very center of all things. And so, because of that, each one of us is the very center of the universe. All of our awarenesses are the awareness of the cosmos. It's true for you and me as well. And so yes, that in a way makes us all the very center of the universe. But so is everything else that perceives. So in order to take our place within the pattern and be able to fully interact with the whole, we need to be aware of our own equality within it. And this is that fuller self that we are seeking. That is our peace in the pattern. A lot of people think of the higher self as an astral aspect, or even a mental plane aspect. But it is not. It is not any of these things. If you consider the material realm, the mental plane, and the astral realm as points on a triangle, we should be in the exact center of that triangle. That is where the fuller self resides. Okay, or the full self, I suppose is the best way to put it, but fuller, because we are always striving to be more in that center, more in balance. There is no end to the amount of growth. No matter how far we stretch ourselves into eternity, there is always room for more evolution. And that, I suppose, is the point of existence. Anyways, so that is the fuller self. Now the dream door. The dream door should look something like this. It needs to have a point at the top, be roughly triangular, but it can be long on the sides. I realize this isn't a triangle, but it needs enough space for have a point on the top, a mirror with a hole above it, and then space for your personal sigil at the bottom. The other things that you will need besides the physical material to make this, which is very easy, you can just take a small board, cut it to a point, drill a hole in the top. You don't have to indent the mirror, that just makes it look better, but I just chiseled a circle here, put the mirror inside of there, and then before I actually opened my door, I went ahead and carved my sigil in the bottom with a router. So you can prepare the area for your sigil beforehand, but you won't want to actually officially draw the sigil on until you have opened the door. And we'll get to that in just a moment. Okay, so once you have the object that is going to be your dream door and have it in a state like this, the next thing then is to open it. You can knock on the door, but that isn't enough to answer it. There has to be someone on the other side of the door. So you will need your personal sigil, but you will also need a dream platform. We've discussed this a few times in the S1 Project videos about how to create your Astro Platform, but this is simply a place that you go to in dreams over and over again, or through astral projection. If you're not a strong enough lucid dreamer, it is easier to start this as an astral projection. You meditate on your sigil and create personal space. Create a place that is declared as yours. And often this starts on the astral plane, but you want to try and move it to the center. So you have the concept and the idea of the platform as well as the form and you move it towards the center of that triangle like I discussed. Okay, so you do that by simply anchoring yourself firmly in the awareness of all three planes. And that means when you are lucid dreaming or astral projecting, you become aware partially of the fact that you are in your body as well, but then you allow your mind to open fuller and access the concepts. Now that all gets a bit confusing. So that's why we have the dream door. That makes all of this more concrete. So how this works is you take the dream door, like I said, knock on it, and then you're going to astral project through the hole in the top. Now this doesn't have to be an intense astral projection. If your astral projections feel more like you're simply visualizing, that's okay, it's a start. So look into the hole in the top and visualize yourself going through that hole and up to your platform. Visualize this a few times with your eyes open. Stare directly into the hole until it becomes your primary focus and everything around the hole blurs out. Focus on the hole in the door. This is the keyhole. Enter. Close your eyes. Now visualize yourself going up to your platform, however it feels, whatever it looks like. You've been there before. You've always been there. This is the place in the center. This is you. Draw yourself into that center. Now, look down, don't open your eyes, but on your astral. Look into the dream door. Look into that same hole and reach through it. Don't project all the way out. Simply reach through and look through the hole and out the mirror. Then open your eyes and make eye contact with yourself in the mirror. Now, this is when you draw your personal sigil the first time that you have done this. You draw it right there below the mirror, anchoring this moment. And this is the meditation that you will do with the dream door to strengthen it each time that you use it. You'll go through the hole, up to your astral platform, look through it, and make eye contact with yourself. This is the first part of interacting with the fuller self. Let's look yourself in the eyes and know that you are equal with all things. All gods are your equals, but so are all fish, insects, trees, plants. All that is the center of awareness. Look into your eyes. And accept your equality with all things. And you'll continue to do this. Now, the next thing to do with this, like I said, is to actually summon the higher self and ask boons of oneself. Now, of course, you would have a pretty good idea what it is that your desires are. So you can do this by leaving, just like you would for any other spirit that you're petitioning. You would have this on, create a shrine for it, put it on your altar, and I sleep with mine a lot of the time. Not directly like this sometimes when I'm astral projecting, I will actually go through the dream door, and if I know I'm going to be gone a long time with my eyes closed, I bring it in like this and use it to travel. It helps quite immensely in moving from one dimension to another on the planes in a much more fluid manner, because you can actually, once you have it with you, you can then have the door and open it to return to your astral platform from wherever you are on the astral plane. And we should stop referring it to as your astral platform, because it is that center. We return to your base, your core, through the door. And you can do this any time that you are projecting. Is simply envision the door, open it, and step through to your astral plane, to your personal dimension, pocket dimension. That's a word that's been going around a lot lately, pocket dimension. That is a good word for this area. Either way, once you are there, you can actually use the door in the opposite way. And I've used this to enter several other places, but once you are on the astral, rather than returning here through the dream door making contact, you can open the door to wherever you desire to go to. So essentially a means of teleportation when you are astral projecting or lucid dreaming by using the door. Okay, so back to this idea of summoning the self. So you put it up on the altar and then speak your name and ask yourself for a boon after looking up, doing the connection. Yeah, of course, I guess I skipped a part there. So you look through the hole, do the entire thing, you're making eye contact with yourself, and then offer yourself gifts, the same as you would a god that you were petitioning. So if you like licorice, you offer yourself bits of licorice. You can blow smoke onto the through the hole in the mirror if you smoke cigarettes or anything else that you know your higher self would like as well. These are things to strengthen that connection. But your fuller self is a self that is connected to all things and can do many of the things that any other god or goddess can do. So this can work as well as petitioning any other god. And then you are literally connecting to yourself. And every time you do this, pulling yourself into that more cohesive, connected pattern of the self and becoming more you. And becoming more into that center and aware of that equality. Now, I want to repeat again. This equality with all things, yes, it makes us equal with all things, all gods, but also amoebas, yeah? This is very special, but it doesn't make you special. This isn't a thing to be arrogant about. This isn't a thing to be like, oh, well, my desires matter more than other people's. No, because they are the center as well. Yeah? Okay, so some of the other magical possibilities that we're going to be discussing with the dream door is we may be able to be using it for some of the shadow work that I talked about earlier. Not shadow work like understanding the self. It can definitely be used for that kind of shadow work. This is a great object for self-talk because you are connecting to that fuller self when you are doing the self-talk, so you can look in the mirror and talk to yourself once you've connected, and that will help you sort out a lot of things. I highly suggest self-talk anytime that you're confused about your motives or your desires. It's the best shadow work of that type that I am aware of. Works better than anything else, at least for me. And in this case, since you're speaking to your fuller self, it is a great way to sort out some things. But you can summon your fuller self and ask them for boons like you would any other god. To do prosperity spells, luck spells. The possibilities are as open as you feel you would be able to do from that position. Yeah? Okay, so why did I have to make this video twice? Well, last time I tried to connect it to the AWA and a bunch of different stuff that it's not necessarily connected to. Yeah, a lot of us are going to be making alliances with the AWA and different sorts of things, and that doesn't interfere with this. But they're not actually connected. This is something that is connected in some ways to the S1 project, because a lot of us have our dream platforms and stuff anchored to the S1 sigil and the is and all of that. And it is something that is going to be helping restore that proper balance for all of our reality, because the more of us that are in that center core, the more aligned the entire dimension becomes, and then the balance gets back to where it is supposed to be. A lot of people tend to think that we are focused too highly on the material plane, but in reality, the problem with the modern society is that we are too focused on a very specific aspect of the mental plane that allows us to actually deny material reality, and we begin seeing the map rather than the territory. Okay, so anyways, the reason I had to make this video twice is because I tried to connect it to a bunch of stuff. Those of you that maybe saw the first video before I unlisted it, there was a lot of actually spirit interference. That camera is just fine again. There was nothing I did to that video to make it do that. I just uploaded it and it messed it all up. Had the audio all out of sync and some other weird stuff that happened. That was spirits that didn't want to be involved with this project interfering and keeping it from working right, because, well, I messed up. Yeah, the two things are not connected. We will be talking about the AWA again soon and that alliance with the Fae, but the only thing you're contracting yourself to with the Dream Door is yourself. And of course, once you are connected to yourself and your whole self, you are at that point very much aware of your existence. So there's a bit of personal responsibility that comes with understanding that, but that's the only thing you're contracting yourself to. Anyways, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you once again for joining us. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please take the opportunity to do so now. Oh, and don't forget to smash that like button, yeah? Anyways, until next time, bright blessings and an interesting fate. This has been Sorcerer Tal.